So I'm standing right now because I feel like when I stand, I can think. And right now, what I'm thinking about is just being grateful about life and just really thinking about how lucky I am to live in this beautiful country called Canada. And I have wonderful friends. I have a mom who loves me. And I've worked a lot over the years and I've saved up enough to survive on my own. Currently, I'm not working, which really sucks, but I try not to be down about it. I've been really thinking about it the last couple of days, weeks, months, or a month and a half, really, about what exactly is my purpose in life. And I've been really thinking about how there is no meaning to life. And not in a bad way, sort of like in a optimistic nihilism sort of way, where because nothing matters, we could decide to do whatever you want and define our life and really, you know, just do whatever we feel is right because we don't live on this planet for a very long time. I don't expect to live past the age of 120. I do want to live up to 100. That would be super awesome. So I'm really praying on that. I do my best to be healthy. I eat properly. I exercise. I try to stay not just physically healthy, but I think the mental aspect of being healthy is very important as well. Because I was reading this book. I have a bookshelf behind me. I built this yesterday or the day before. I got it from IKEA. Shout out to IKEA. And I've read all these books over the years, but there's one author. His name what was his name? Oh, Malcolm Gladwell, and he wrote this book, and he talked about how what was the book? Oh, it was called Outliers. So Outliers is sort of like what people are able to exceed in themselves, but and the reason how they're able to overachieve and do things that normal people can't do. And there was a study, I don't know if it's a study, but it was sort of like an anecdote a story that he told on his book, where there was this village that lived a very long time despite not eating healthy and despite not living the best lifestyle. And basically, the reason that they were able to live so long, they thought it was the water, they thought it was where they lived. A lot of it was just they were part of a big community. So if one person were to be walking down the street, there was 10 people that he or she could wave to and say hi to, and that sort of lifestyle actually greatly benefited them in terms of how long people lived. And so I not only try to eat healthy and exercise, I also value the idea of having a community. And I think that is one of the most important things to longevity in life. And so I don't know, I'm just making this because I feel like I've been applying for jobs and some of it's not working out. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was in a managerial role and I'm trying to apply for a lower position. And I don't know if I have that drive to go back to the workforce and really work and grind it out 50, 60 hours a week. Although I feel that I in order for me to better myself, I do need to work towards something. So this video, this I want to make it sort of like a movie thing. I want to actually do my best to make as many of these as possible. And if any of you that are watching are resonating with any of this, my sort of rant, I would like to hear it. I would like to interact with people outside of just my friends and my family that are current in my life. I want to expand sort of the community aspect of, basically what that book was talking about, where one of the keys to living a healthy life is to be in parts of many different communities. And I think that this could be a community as long as I'm consistent. If I'm consistent, then you're consistent with talking back to me and what sort of questions you have and that sort of stuff. And that's sort of the gist of this. I think that um, this could be a fun creative outlet for me. I think that you don't really get anywhere in life if you just sort of do nothing and sit around and mope. And when I first quit, I made a video. When I first quit, maybe how long ago was it now? I don't know how long ago it was, but I was sort of ranting how I didn't like the industry that I was in and saw this negativity. I watched it back, and that's not who I am. That's not the person that I want to be. I want to be someone who really looks forward to every day, waking up every day and feeling grateful that I get to live this life that that a lot of people would envy. And I don't want to compare myself to other people, but I am comparing myself to who I was 2 weeks ago to when I made that first video, and I just didn't like it. I'm gonna keep it up just because that was how I was feeling at the time, and now I'm feeling a lot better. And I got a haircut. Um, my roommate moved out, so I've been sort of reorganizing my place a lot. I don't know how I'm gonna survive because now I'm paying double the bills because of rent. And I've always had this mindset, not always, but maybe in the last couple of years, I really thought, things will work itself out. And I felt like if I keep that mindset, um, I'll be able to look for opportunities that I normally wouldn't be able to see because I'm so focused on looking at how bad things are, if that makes any sense. So I really want to hone in on the idea and the concepts that life is what you see and how you make it. And the only way to do that a lot of times is your mentality, my mentality. And if anyone can relate to that, please let me know because this has really been helping me for the last couple years. I feel like the reason I'm able to afford things and meet a lot of people and pick up the jobs that I've had over the years was because of this sort of mindset and mentality of things will work itself out, being grateful, and sort of having this almost delusional, optimistic view of where I see things and how I want my life to play out. And sometimes it doesn't go exactly the way I want it to, although I feel that it still ends up in a roundabout way of where I wanted it to be. Like I'm 31 now, and I feel like I am in a good place. There are a lot of aspects that I do obviously want to improve on. That I think I'm currently working on finding the love of my life. I think about that quite a lot. Figuring out sort of my path to take and what my next goal should be. Because I think that goals and your purpose in life, it changes as you grow older, as I grow older. Maybe I didn't want kids before and now I want kids. Maybe I didn't want a dog before and now I want a dog. So I want, in order to continue to have a proper purpose and goals in life, I have to have the right mindset for all those things to attract together, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So this will be the start of me just sort of talking about my thoughts out loud. And really, I think I do love doing this. I really do. And I wish that more people could comment and I could interact and sort of have a community around these sort of topics. And I want to hear other people's ideas because I feel like personally I never really accomplish things alone. I think that in order to do well in life, another aspect of doing well in life is to have a really good support system of people that you can trust and rely on and bounce ideas around, and I feel like I personally haven't achieved all this alone. I feel like I've always had people along the way to take me to the next step in life. And so it's sort of what I'm looking for here. I love talking to new people. I love hearing people's stories and where they're from and their backgrounds. And again, all that really comes back to how my mindset is. And obviously, 100% of the time, it's not going to be 100% of the time optimistic. I do want it to be more so than not, sort of this idea of how I view life. I want it to be more optimistic than pessimistic most days. So I would say like 80 to 90% of the time. That's sort of my thought process here. I'm sort of just throwing out numbers and thoughts, but anyway, I'm gonna end this here. I don't know how long this thing is, but anyway, those are my thoughts. What time is it right now? It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just sort of ranting here. But maybe it'll help me sleep. 5 a.m. Holy, I don't really have a sleep schedule right now. Okay, that's it. I'm done.